so pristine, so untouched. It's referred to as the last paradise.
This is the Mecca for divers.
One of the best dive spots in the world.
Thousands of islands.
The corals and the fish and the snorkelling.
Just the kindness and the welcoming. I love the dancing and the music.
Cultures, the environment, marine life. This is one of the best.
I think there is just so much to this itinerary. You've got a wonderful mix of culture, you've got these really pristine remote reef systems, Raja Ampat right in the centre there, and all the amazing wildlife that we've also been able to see along the way, like our whale sharks. So it really is an itinerary that does a highlights reel of amazing parts of West Papua and Indonesia. We have our itinerary, but if there is an opportunity to, find something new or explore something different, we really pride ourselves on being dynamic and capturing the best of what's available. And usually twice a day we're out there trying to explore and provide the best opportunities for the guests. So the hunt is always on to find that new, exciting location.
I'd say this is a journey back in time. Back to when humans first stepped off Indonesia. These are the people who gave rise to the Polynesians, the Micronesians, went all the way over to Madagascar and made it to the Australian area. Incredible story. Different islands have got different cultures. And a lot of it's got to do with the animals and the plants that are available there and the type of geology of those islands as well, whether they're volcanic islands or they're limestone reef islands.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can see how excited the people to have you here in their village. We have to preserve the nature.
We have our excursion agent Oswald on board, and he's instrumental in connecting us with these remote villages.
I've been doing this since 1987. Being an Indonesian, it's a positive point for me, connecting the guests to the villagers, to have them interact with the village and know and learn about the cultures, the way of life, what the village is doing.
That authenticity, something that Oswald's been really significant in getting that relationship working very, very well, and that's important.
We're on Yamdena Island and we're at the Sangliat village. So this is a megalithic village. This particular village wasn't affected by colonialism. These guys have been here for hundreds, if not thousands of years, relatively unchanged. Village life is something that hasn't really evolved and their traditions are strong. When they've come over the oceans, they've landed on the beach down here, and so this space that's now cleared and is their central square, it was hidden from them at that time. So the significance of the stairway is where they've come from and where they are today. And we're giving the guests a sense of what day-to-day village life is for the Sangliat people.
Why these people come and visit us? We live like this. And that is a big question from them. But as the process goes, you can see how they express with a smile, with the body language, taking pictures, they can talk with you. That is a very big impact for the villagers. This is a contact between, a social contact between people to people.
I totally didn't expect such a diverse and broad group of cultures, languages and peoples. I found them all completely new.
For me, one of the highlights of this trip, we went to Kampung Deer, which is a remote little village. This company, they're the only company that can show guests this place. No television cameras had been there before. The Indigenous people put on a marvellous performance of their local dance, known as the Masarandak, that made their own costumes, worked really hard for us to put on a great show. It was a really special experience and surprising to be able to go into undiscovered communities in 2025.
Every village has produced a different culture, different people, different tribes. I just love interacting with the villagers, and they've all been so welcoming. And we've had some absolutely fantastic arrivals, you know, getting off and all those people lining up.
They have these special dances and it tells their stories of their villages and what's around them.
I think it was significant for them to have an opportunity to perform some of their traditional cultural dances and songs and get everyone in the community involved.
I love photographing the people, particularly when they're doing their dances like today. Beautifully painted faces, hands and arms and feet. You know, I love photographing those details.
Unfortunately, these places are being modernised in such a rapid pace. This is going to be a thing of the past, and we're really lucky to see it in its unique form. I've never seen that in many of our travels.
There's those sort of impromptu things that have really added to the holiday. We've had marvellous musical experiences.
We've got guys with bass, drums and a ukulele or some kind of guitar, stringed guitar. So much fun and laughter and foot stomping and yeah, fabulous.
Just a smile on the kids' faces, you know. They're just so welcoming and they're all happy to see you and, you know, and greet you.
And then we get immersed in the village life, so we're learning about the fishing techniques or what daily village life looks like. And each of these villages are very different, so some of them are over the water, and so there'll be houses on stilts, and then some of them are just really remote islands, and we're able to wander around the village feeling very welcome and very much a part of the daily life there.
And we're donating gifts to the schools and to the community as well. I think that's a good thing.
The villages have been wonderful, and it's just amazing to go somewhere quite remote and they haven't been spoilt. It's just a really special experience.
They're happy to see us, they're happy to experience us coming.
And the whole village there to say goodbye. That was wonderful.
They're beautiful people, they really are.
So animals are living in safety and security on a lot of these islands, and the size of the islands determines what can survive there. And a lot of the geographic isolation creates different species.
You get this big diversity of habitats, and of course when you get the big diversity of habitats, then you get a lot of variation in what's actually able to live there.
Wago, where we were able to capture 2 species of the bird of paradise, which are a really endemic bird to the area, and I think all our guests were amazed with the experience we had.
We were all dropped off by the explorer. I took the camera up the hill and found a flying fox colony, and that for me was very exciting, finding something a little bit different, something that I totally didn't expect.
In Papua, in West Papua, particularly in Raja Ampat, over 600,000 species of fish. Some of the endemic marine life does not exist here, but exists in the other part of Indonesia, like in Sulawesi. For example, you can only see the cardinal fish is only in Sulawesi. It does not exist here. The walking shark you have here and not in Sulawesi. But the different species, particularly in Raja Ampat, this is something that's very unique. It's very special for the people coming to see the marine life.
A lot of our divers and snorkelers were able to see the reef manta rays.
You're hovering over these magnificent mantas that are 3 metres wide and just drift along the top of them and watch them dance. It's phenomenal.
It's fascinating to see a lot of stuff in its natural habitat and see the fish thriving and the corals thriving. And then you see everyone coming back pretty happy and excited, so that's a pretty good perk of the job.
I'm a research fellow at Murdoch University. My main work is on the research and conservation of whale sharks, the biggest fish in the sea. I'm passionate about their conservation, but I'm really interested in the science and trying to help this species, which is endangered, but there is ways of really helping whale sharks globally to hopefully come back from the brink.
My PhD looked at the anthropogenic or the human impacts on whale sharks in the Indian Ocean. I found that the different aggregations of whale sharks, they seem to stay fairly close to where they're tagged. There's no kind of long distance mixing, and so it depends which area of the oceans they're using as to what impacts are affecting them the most. But shipping and fishing are really the biggest threats to whale sharks that they're facing at the moment.
It's great that Australian Geographic has partnered with Coral Expeditions on this trip to educate the guests about the whale sharks here at Cenderawasih Bay and allow people to have the wonderful experience of swimming with whale sharks. Whale shark ecotourism is really important for the conservation of whale sharks. We show that whale sharks come back to the same location each year in some situations, and the opportunity to swim with them year after year and for that animal to return is amazing. So swimming with a whale shark, you get to swim alongside this beautiful gentle giant, and you learn about their conservation and learn how to minimise impacts in the longer term. We identify individual whale sharks through their spot pattern on the side of their body. It's a way of understanding which animal you're swimming with and if those animals are returning. So guests on board can actually take a photograph of the whale shark, send it into our database, and we'll determine through our spot pattern recognition algorithm whether that whale shark that you saw today is a new whale shark to the library or one that's been seen before.
And we were able to record a new individual, which we've now named as Luna. So that was a special part of the experience for our guests to be able to ID a new whale shark in the area.
These are a species in trouble, but I think that with attention and quality research and a really good understanding of what we need to do, we can hopefully bring this species back from the brink.
Diving in such out-of-the-way places as Raja Ampat really require you to be at the top of your game. So you're looking for not only experienced personnel, but robust safety protocols and really top-drawer dive equipment.
And these folks, Jacob and Esther, are just professionals, and they briefed us very well on the dives. Some of the places that we went to, they had never been before. They would always recce the site in the morning. So by the time we got there, they'd already researched it, made us feel very comfortable.
Everywhere we go that's new, that involves a bit of research beforehand, gathering information online about what potentially could be the best location, but also using maps to look at the topography of the bottom, which gives us a good indication of where fish are going to be. We look at the way the currents run, and we look at the satellite imagery to work out what's going to be the best place.
The islands of Raja Ampat, each is unique and beautiful unto itself, but the dives in Wayag and Wagmab, just the diversity of marine life. I keep charting my dives, and what I find is so many different fish and coral species I've never seen anywhere else in the world, and it's like finding an Easter egg, each and every new species you can record.
Really great reef health and fish life through the region.
Variations of coral that they have here, the colors.
It's the centre of the coral triangle, which is the heart of the most amount of biodiversity in all the world. Also, the topography means that you get lots of depth and then lots of clean water rubbing up against coral reefs, which provide a nursery for smaller fish as well as that deeper running water for the larger pelagic fish. So you're getting a mix of two worlds, from the deep and from the shallows, all in one place.
We got to dive on the Shinwa Maru, a Japanese cargo ship that sank in an air raid during World War II. And there's beautiful corals and other marine life growing on it. So you got the best of both worlds.
We are able to access hard to reach places, but we are also able to dive in relative comfort and protection, and it just makes for a very comfortable dive experience.
In 2022, I won the Australian Geographic Nature Photographer of the Year with my photo named Nature's Prey. So Australian Geographic has kindly awarded me with this prize to join a trip, and I couldn't be more excited. The photo is of a humpback whale skeleton that's been stripped of all its flesh by the sharks. There was several sharks swimming around it. The tiger shark that I got the photo of did a couple of circles and then took off. He was not fazed by us at all. Raja Ampat has some of the best reefs in the world, so having this itinerary available to me is absolutely insane. I work as a wildlife and nature photographer in Exmouth in Western Australia, photographing whale sharks. So I do a lot of underwater photography with that. One of my favourite types of photography is those split shot photos where you get the reef underneath the water and the beautiful land above the water. So Raja Ampat is a really great place to get photos like that because the reef does come right up to the surface and right against the shoreline. Yeah, I'm really excited to be able to get some photos like that. I shoot with a Sony mirrorless camera and it's in a Nauticam housing. I've also got 2 strobes out the side which create some artificial light for me, so when I'm down underneath the water you can light up the coral nicely. I've got a glass dome on the front which really helps with those split shots as well because the water doesn't pool as easily on them. Yeah, the glass dome is the prized possession on there, I think. But yeah, it's a great camera setup. It's been high up on my bucket list for a very long time, so couldn't be more excited.
Part of this itinerary involves a charter flight from Sarong all the way back to Darwin and from there to hotels. So it's a really easy way to finish off this epic journey, and they'll all be flying back to Australia together.
Core expedition have a different itinerary. This trip, starting from Darwin all the way to Singapore, this is the islands of Indonesia. So if you go on this tour, going to Komodo Island to see the dragon in the Komodo National Park.
Komodo Island's just off Flores. Now, Flores itself is just absolutely amazing, but Komodo and Padar Island are the only ones with Komodo dragons. And we tend to think that Komodo dragons are these animals that only eat goats and deer, but they weren't around when the Komodo dragons were there originally. The Komodo dragons were hunting pygmy elephants, and maybe even the Homo floresiensis, the hobbits, we don't know. And they were only discovered by science really in the early 1900s. The Komodo dragon actually came from Australia, and at some stage they managed to get themselves over into Timor, and from Timor as far west as Komodo Island there. And that's where they've maintained a population for the whole time.
Sulawesi, another really different part of Indonesia. So for this excursion we go up into the mountains to a place called Tanah Toraja. Now these are true mountain people, totally different climate and habitat to what we're experiencing along the coastlines. We get immersed in the village life up there. The Tanah Toraja people, they have a really interesting way of dealing with the dead. It's almost like they're keeping that person alive through this statue that they have that's on the side of a cliff. It's the only place I've ever been to that deals with death in this way.
It's the home of the buffalo. The houses are shaped like buffalo horns. They're just incredible.
Everything you see there in terms of the village structures, the housing structures and the culture, that makes it a really special place to go.
The crew are just fantastic. They're really well organised and aim to give you the best experiences day by day.
We have a really good expedition team and a product team behind us. And as a master, yeah, it's very exciting to be exploring some of these remote locations with guests in our crew.
Everyone gets along really well. We're one team. Everyone understands that helping each other is going to help us work together the best we can and deliver the best experience for the guests.
creating that rapport, building those relationships on board is important. And I think it goes a long way for the guests to enjoy their time on board.
And the satisfaction is at the end of the day when the guests come back and they tell me it's the best snorkel or it's the best day. That's the part that I really look forward to.
The service culture on the ship is quite relaxed, but it's very, very professional. And I really enjoy it. And I think it's something that Australians do really well.
It feels really genuine and authentic and welcoming.
Great lecturers, and everybody's mixed, and it's been a lot of fun.
And everybody's included regardless of their ability or their level of ability.
And also meeting people from all over the world and chatting with them from all walks of life. I've found that very interesting as well. We've all sort of melded together, I think. It's been a great experience.
It's been just a fantastic trip.
It's just blown me away. I want to come again. I want more.